Hello and welcome to the Father and Son Formula One podcast. A bit of a departure this week because we're not talking about a race actually. Oh, by the way, I'm the father, Graham Miller, and here's my son, Toby.
Hello.
Yeah, we're not talking about a race this week. We are talking about the F1 movie because Toby and I and Ellie all went to see it on the Sunday after the British Grand Prix, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
It was a very Formula One heavy day, to be fair.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to talk about the tiny bit of gossip you may have noticed around some guy called Christian Horner, who was a team principal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll start with the F1 the movie, I think
Yes.
is it?
Well, it's called F1,
Yeah.
but they marketed it as F1 the movie because F1 is already a thing that people can watch. It's a sport.
Yeah. I mean, I must admit, I found it quite odd, the degree to which it's... I mean, yes, it's the first film that's ever been made when they actually embedded it in a sport. And, you know, all throughout, I think, 23 and 24, when they were filming it, we had, like, almost like... Do you remember when there were those pranks where people would get football kits on and rush out and just stand at the end of the line when the national anthem played so they'd be on the pitch?
Yeah.
It was almost like that because like there'd be the national anthem on the grid at a major race and then there'd be like Brad Pitt and Damson Idris.
Yeah, just standing there pretending to be F1
Yeah,
drivers.
in like a kind of fake F1 kit.
Which means that in the movie, they were like the real drivers all throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Were kind of like just sort of trying desperately not to look into the cameras, I think.
Yeah.
And being sort of awkward in that way because they're not really actors.
Yeah, they're just kind of in the background.
It was immersive, to be fair.
Oh, yeah.
One complaint of many that I had.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that Apex GP were talking a bit more about the other teams.
Yeah.
Because you imagine, they're a backmarker. So they would have had a big board that said, like, Stake or Sauber, whoever they were at the time. It would have been like Sauber, Haas, Williams, Alpine. These are our main rivals. We've got to track their development. We've got to look at their driver signings. We've got to look at their, like, aero performance and what tracks they're strong and weak at.
Well, the main thing would be how far behind them are we, I think actually that came out of the bizarre plot device. We are going to mention spoilers, but to be honest, it's a Hollywood film, so there aren't really big spoilers.
Yeah, it's been out for over a month now, so...
Yeah, but the big kind of plot device was that if Apex GP didn't win one race, then there was a buyback option for the, I think the management board to buy it out or something.
Yeah. And
I think that kind of made the problem because generally teams don't have that kind of rigidity. There would be like, oh, you've got to finish 8th, 9th or 10th in the Constructors' Championship, or we expect your drivers to be above this level at this point in the season.
Yeah. They're
not generally out and out, oh, we expect you to win a race, because that's not actually a great indicator of performance. You could have a wet race where, like that one where, I know it wasn't a wet race, but a race like that one where Bottas just went bowling and knocked out half the field.
Yeah, but also, for a backmarker team to win a race at all, it's just unrealistic.
Mm.
Like, some teams have very good seasons where they don't even get a podium. Like, Williams are having an amazing season, but they've never finished higher than, like, 5th.
No, but, I mean, in real life, it would be very much...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
it might even be like, oh, we need you to get over 40 points this year, or...
Well, this happened in real life, though, because I'm going to actually look it up so I get it right. Monaco, 2013. 2014, Marussia, who were operated by Manor Motorsport, so it was all the one thing. In 2014 Monaco Grand Prix, Bianchi finished 9th and scored 2 points, which basically scored them enough points and gave them enough bonus money that they actually were able to continue for another year because of all the money
Yeah.
they got.
Yeah.
And they pulled out of one race for financial reasons, but then they did keep going next year. It sort of happened in real life anyway.
Yeah, and actually that's the key point. Your position, the team's position on the constructors, indicates how much prize money they're going to get next year.
Mm.
So, as a plot device, it would have worked just as well for them to say, we're currently 11th. These two teams are like, I don't know, 8 and 11 points ahead of us. If we can beat those two teams, we'll go up to 9th, and then the prize money will pay off our debtors, and then we can race next year.
Yeah, that would be such a clean kind of plot, really.
I mean, I suppose
that sort of thing happens in F1 all the time. It's real.
I suppose the whole thing about the film is, and this is going to sound odd, but it wasn't really a film about Formula One.
Not really.
It was much more. I mean, I think the writers did Mission Impossible Maverick. I think a lot of the production team were behind that, and that's to the same extent that, like, not Mission Impossible, Top Gun.
Yes, Top Gun Maverick.
And it's like saying, well, the Top Gun films aren't really about what it's like to be in Navy flight school.
No.
You know, it's
the director, the screenplay, and the producer all worked on Maverick. So you're right.
Yeah. And so the idea is not to do an accurate, this is what it's like to have a Formula One race.
Yeah. It's to give you the feeling of it.
Yeah, the experience. But kind of a bit like Drive to Survive, really, where they don't really care if it's 100% accurate.
Yeah, Drive to Survive is like going the reality TV route.
Yeah, I know Max Verstappen's complained about it because they took some comments he made at one race and moved them to another one.
To make him look, worse, he thinks.
Yeah.
Thing is, if you want an ultimately accurate representation of an F1 race, the best thing to watch is Formula One.
Well, yeah.
Because it's on fairly often, and it's quite funny how different it is, to be honest, because it is just like, I don't know, it's just real.
Yeah.
And sometimes, things happen that wouldn't be good in a story.
Well, yeah.
Like the underdog just loses quite a lot because it's hard. F1.
Well, that's why they're underdogs. I mean, the other thing that really struck me, I don't know if you noticed this, I go on a lot about, I'm sure I can remember the guy's name, but there's the 12 steps of the hero's journey.
Yeah.
His name will come to me at completely the wrong point.
It's in my brain too, but I can't quite grab it.
And basically, this is a pattern that
Joseph Campbell?
Joseph Campbell.
Yeah, I got it.
Joseph Campbell studied lots of myths and stories around the world, and he came up with these 12 steps that every story follows.
Yeah.
And the first 3 steps, and not every story follows them like every step, but they're a kind of template. And the first step is the ordinary world. So we see Sonny Hayes, as he's living now, living out of a trailer, doing odd races here and there for a laugh.
Yeah.
And then you have the call to adventure.
Which is Ruben meeting him in the laundrette and saying, race in Formula One for me.
And then he walks away. And actually at that point, Ellie, who's my wife and Toby's mum, actually leaned over to me and whispered in my ear, refusal of the call.
Yeah.
Because that is like
it's not the sort of film that's going to subvert that sort of thing, is it? It's very obviously laid out.
The classic version of that is the first Star Wars film.
Yeah.
Where, you see Luke being a farm boy.
On Tatooine, yeah.
And then he buys the robots and they're like, oh, we've got to go to Ben Kenobi and deliver the message. And he's like, yeah, but I've got the harvest to do.
Yeah.
And it's only when he goes back home and his family have been killed, he's like, okay then.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was very much, not quite by the numbers, but...
Yeah, it kind of was. The story was... But it just wasn't realistic, that's the only thing. Because also he came in after 9 races, right? Or with 9 races to go.
Yeah.
Who was the first driver who was there?
I'm not sure. There were two or three kind of. There was a
Because
driver who.
there was Luca Cortez.
I think he was the kind of backup for when Sonny Hayes.
He was the reserve driver who apparently was also at Red Bull. They mentioned offhand he's like tired of playing second banana at Red Bull.
Yeah.
Which I thought was quite funny that they just needed an extra spare driver, so they made him come from Red Bull. Because everyone's raced for Red Bull.
Yeah.
But I don't know who was there before. I don't know if it was like... yeah, I don't know why that driver quit or what happened, basically.
I think he got sacked because they were like really struggling.
Which, again, you could say that wouldn't happen, but look at Alpine.
Yeah.
I think as well.
Yeah.
It's 2023, and Sonny Hayes crashed at the Spanish Grand Prix in 1993, which ended his career. The oldest driver on the grid, and he's pushing the limit, is Alonso, who debuted in 2001, which was 8 years after that. So realistically, I think Hayes is too old.
I mean, that would be like having Damon Hill or Martin Brundle.
Yeah, I think Martin Brundle's actually quite good. I think we pointed out he's basically the same age as Hayes is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Martin
but, I mean,
Brundle,
you said that it was very much a kind of... Sorry, what was that?
Martin Brundle stopped in 96.
Yeah.
So it's about right. But he's 66 now.
Yeah.
I think what is well, it's been 30 years. If you're in your early 20s as an F1 driver, you know, let's say he ended his career prematurely, fair enough. He'd still be in his 50s.
Yeah.
It's just kind of... It would have been, again, more realistic and therefore better, according to me, if he'd been up against, like, Schumacher and he'd retired in, like, 2003.
Yeah.
Because that puts him within that realm of possibility, within the Alonso sort of time gap.
Yeah, but even that, I mean, like you say, it's very much a kind of white saviour kind of plot, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Because you've got this Irish woman who's the chief engineer, chief technical officer.
Yes.
But then, you know, this old white guy comes in and goes, have you thought about making it easier to follow the other cars?
Yeah.
And it's like, isn't that what every team on the grid is desperate to do, to cut down that turbulence and make it easier to follow and overtake?
Yeah, it's the fact that he just walked in and made one suggestion and it worked instantly. Whereas in real life, if he'd said that to a technical director, they'd have sort of smiled and gone, that's very helpful, Mr. Hayes. Now, why don't you go and practice your starts or whatever in the simulator?
Yeah. You know, what do you think we've been trying to do?
Yeah.
And yeah, they would have had to have still had the raw power to be able to overtake as well.
Yeah. I mean, that was a bit of a sort of problem, I think.
Oh wow, I didn't realise that.
What?
JP's accident, he goes into the last corner of Parabolica in Monza.
Yep.
But he flips so far that he lands at Brands Hatch.
Does he?
He must have like rolled all the way across Europe.
Wow, that's like several hundred miles of rolling.
Yes.
No wonder he survived. I mean, also, how did it get on fire when it went through the English Channel, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of just like creative license.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily mind that so much.
No, that's just how they make it. I mean, the one thing I think I found really odd about the film was the fact that it was F1 branded, so they had the F1 logo.
Yeah.
And let me see if I can untangle this in my head. Apex GP is not a real Formula One team.
No.
But they were sponsored by, I can't remember who, a Hoover manufacturer.
Yeah.
Shark or somebody, I can't remember. But then it occurred
yeah. So many of the brands were featured on Apex GP cars. Expensify was a big one. They were on the team kit.
Yeah.
Geico,
Yeah.
Shark Ninja, who I think is that the Shark Hoovers?
Yeah, it's the Hoovers and the like blenders and the food processors and the air fryers.
MSC Cruises and EA Sports, who make the F1 games.
Yeah.
I think they're in the F1 game as well, because of course they are.
But then, yeah, they were actually running adverts before the film, advertising their products. And you kind of get to a point where it's kind of blurring because real life companies have almost certainly spent thousands or millions
on marketing on a fake car.
But then they're probably getting a payback from that because it's a Brad Pitt film, so millions of people will see it. And my head's just kind of like...
It's kind of like when, car manufacturers put their cars in movies.
I mean, I can get product placement. This is kind of next level.
Well, it's product placement that also... It does legitimise the car and the team. Because you see them with the team kits and they've got Mercedes. I think Mercedes were quite heavily involved, actually.
Yeah, because Lewis Hamilton was a producer, so...
And they made the car as well, Mercedes. They, I think, took a Formula 2 car and added bits to it to make it look like an F1 car. And I think Mercedes were responsible for that.
Yeah, and you know what else I've heard?
What?
They had another car, because it did a lot of stop-starts to, like, reshoots. So they'd, like, run down a straight and then go round and then run down a straight and then stop to reset the cameras. And the cars were overheating.
Yeah.
So some of the cars were pure electric.
Oh.
Because otherwise they couldn't...
They couldn't run like that. They're not designed to.
Yeah. But also running them pure electric made it much easier for filming because it had good acceleration.
I'm reading it now.
They weren't...
It's a Dallara F2 2018. Stretched, widened and modified by Mercedes Applied Science and run by Carlin Motorsport, who do F2.
Yep.
6 visually identical chassis were created, some powered by the Mechachrome V634, which is a 3.4 litre V6 in the F2 Championship.
Yeah.
Some of them by GP3 V6 engines and one by an electric motor, which was used to prevent overheating for shots in the pit lane.
Okay, so it wasn't just complete clickbait nonsense.
No, they had one electric Formula E car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very odd. I'm just having a quick look through the trivia. Oh no, given that Lewis Hamilton was a producer, I spotted this, I think you did as well. The big finale is that Lewis Hamilton ends up on the wrong tyres after... Was it a red flag or a safety car?
I think it was a...
Safety car.
A safety car? I don't remember. There were lots of crashes at the end.
But, yeah, Lewis Hamilton ends up on the wrong tyres after a safety car and ends up losing in Abu Dhabi.
Yes.
And you kind of think, really?
Also, I like that he was like... Hamilton was the final boss of the whole film, really. Because it's like Damson Idris's character has to get a race win, and the only one in his way now is like Hamilton in a Mercedes, and that's like an insurmountable challenge.
Yes.
Even though in 23 and 24 the Mercedes was a bit crap, really. It really should have been the Verstappen in the Red Bull. But Hamilton was a producer.
And I also know for a fact that they asked Max about it, and he was like, I'm not an actor, I don't do films, I like cars and racing, why would I be involved?
Yeah, exactly.
I think he was one of the few drivers who was just like, meh.
I know they had the podium. I'm not sure if that was at the end or if it was in Vegas. And I think it was Leclerc and Russell on the podium, alongside whoever it was. I think Joshua Pierce. Let me have a look. Yeah, I think so. I'm just reading the
yeah, so I'm reading the tribute. Oh, now I spotted that.
Yeah, it was Russell and Leclerc on the podium, which is not an unrealistic podium, to be fair.
No. The Apex headquarters were the McLaren Technology Centre.
The MTC. I saw that as well. I knew that going in. I think they'd used it for.
Yeah. I mean, should we do a quick wrap up of all the horrendous errors and then we'll move on? I think.
Yes, I want to start.
Okay, then I'll go back to.
Leave all.
Yep.
Sonny Hayes comes back after 30 years and immediately just crashes deliberately into every driver he can see, and somehow doesn't get a race ban after like 2 races.
Well, in actual fact, on the IMDb page, they say post Singapore 2008, the kind of moves that he was pulling would be immediately the team out of the championship.
Yeah.
Because we've seen, like, you know, Singapore 2008, they basically manipulated the safety car to win a race.
Yes.
And with that experience, the FIA would take one look at it, and it wouldn't be like, man, that guy's so clever, we've got no idea what's going on. It would be, here we go again.
Yeah. Also, Sonny Hayes is like telling Joshua Pierce what to do.
Yeah.
He's like talking to him through the radio, whereas like through the engineers. But we saw with Ferrari in Miami that their communication was so much kind of slower and more complicated. There's only like 3 people on the Apex GP pit wall. Whereas quite often in real races, things get quite confused and kind of people can talk. Like sometimes radios go wrong and the drivers can hear other people talking because they're always constantly talking to each other. They're not just being messengers for the drivers.
Also, it's much of a bigger problem than that. I don't think I've ever seen any teams where the 2 drivers collaborate.
In what way?
Well, like, they help each other. Your first rival in Formula 1 is your teammate because he's got the same equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, even teams
maybe in the lower ranks it's a bit less, but certainly at the higher level.
No, I think it's the same across all F1 teams. And I mean, even in like setups that are as unbalanced as say Vettel Webber or Schumacher Barrichello, if the number 2 driver is told to pull over or surrender the place, they don't just go, oh yeah, that's a great idea for the team. They go, what the hell, I was winning, I'm faster, why doesn't he overtake me if he's... You know what I mean? They push.
Yeah.
So having two drivers working together that closely.
Yeah, I do think that's... Well, that is another thing.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, yeah, the talking to each other, that was a bit silly. The big one that I noticed, Abu Dhabi.
Yep.
Luca Cortez qualifies.
Yep.
Brad Pitt turns up and he's allowed to race.
Yeah.
Which is not allowed. You have to complete a qualifying session or a practice session to be allowed.
Yeah. Or even just be in the country.
We saw in Canada Stroll pulled out after qualifying. And so whoever it was, Drogovic, I think, couldn't sub in.
No.
That was actually a big point made of it, and they were talking about the regs a lot. So I think it's a little unfortunate that the film came out just after that race.
Yeah.
Around that race. Because it brought it to the fore that literally would never happen.
But you see, to go back to good old Joseph Campbell.
Yes.
One of the later stages in the 12-stage journey of the hero is what's called death, which isn't literally Sonny Hayes dies.
But it's sort of death, out of the story.
It's death of the dream, so the idea that they're trying to get, which is winning a race, appears to die. He's walked off, JP's had his crash, and
He's
you think,
weird meeting with Edmure Tully.
Yeah. And then you have the redemption where he just walks down the pit lane with, like, proper lighting and music, hopefully in slow motion, and saves the day.
Yeah. Which, the whole thing was basically Brad Pitt's amazing, the movie.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think also the romance between him and the technical director was a bit egregious and kind of unnecessary.
Yeah.
I would have replaced that with more technical scenes, more aerodynamics and engine mapping.
And stuff like that, yeah.
Strategy meetings. Well, they never showed any qualifying either.
No.
I'd have had a 45-minute scene of them going through their FP3 run plan. Would have been the most boring film ever, but...
Yeah. Here's one that I thought was really trivial and I can't see a reason for it.
Yes.
They should, unless there was a really good reason, have been HAY and PEA
Yeah.
on the timing
Well, they were
towers.
PRC and HYS?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually no specific reason for that.
And even with my storytelling head on, I can't see that made anything better or worse. It's just something to annoy the purists.
Yeah.
And the last person who didn't follow the first three letters of the surname, unless there's obviously another one out there, was Mick Schumacher, who had MSC because of his father, who had MSC because Ralph Schumacher was racing at the same time.
Yeah, so they couldn't do SCH. Tell you before that, actually, Verstappen came in around the same time as Jean-Eric Verne.
Yeah.
So Verne, because he was older, had been in it for longer, had VER.
Yeah.
So they gave Verstappen VES.
Yeah.
His first season or two. And then Verne left, so Verstappen got VER.
Yeah. And I can't see any kind of reason for that. I mean...
Also, maybe because it's two foods. It's like they're both words already, pea and hay.
But then they could have changed the names of the drivers, I mean...
Yeah.
It just seems weird, that's all. I was actually a member in the film looking at the timing tower to see if there was...
Yeah.
I don't know, like Hayford or somebody, or...
No. We don't see Cortez or anything, so we don't see if he's like COR or if they've done like CTS or something.
Yeah.
CRT, they probably do. Yeah. It was not for F1 super fans like me, basically.
No, I mean, it was...
The objective was to get more people into F1 ultimately.
Yeah.
That's why F1 worked with the, production of it.
Yeah, and it did make F1 look really cool.
Yeah, the actual racing scenes where they're on track are kind of epic, actually.
Yeah.
Because they are real. They built that car and now it's on the track. And I think they CG in the onboards from other teams, other drivers, so you can see the real cars as they were.
Yeah, I also think what they did was they got real shots of actual racing and then used CGI to make... I think Romain Grosjean's car was one that people spotted, but they made it look like
the
Apex car.
Yeah, which again, it's cool that they get the opportunity to do that with F1 being so kind of strict on their broadcasting rights. But it's kind of nice to have a film that is, given that kind of
access.
I just wish it was a bit better written and a bit less kind of Hollywood cheese.
What's really funny is they interviewed Lewis Hamilton, given that he's a producer and helped fund it.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, is it your favourite racing movie ever?" And he just laughed and said, "No, it's not even going to be in my top 10."
I'm trying to think of 10 racing movies.
Yeah.
The first that comes to mind, which I actually did watch in between practice sessions, just for fun, is Rush.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably the best because it's just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, when it came out, I'm probably going to show my age now. I went to see Senna in the 2010. It was.
Yeah, I remember I think you showed me it when it was on DVD actually.
Yeah, and I went out and watched it in the cinema on my own. And I was kind of like, well, it's a documentary. And it just blew me away, actually. Because you kind of think a documentary, you're going to kind of lose your interest after a bit. But the way they shot it, and they actually told a story, but they did it all through Senna's interviews and people who were there at the time. And it was literally just editing together everything that was there to tell the whole story.
Yeah, like real interviews with people.
Yeah.
I remember, yeah.
So that's too good.
Yeah, I'd have asked him what his top 10 was, to be honest, just to see.
Oh, I've just seen more like this. There's a film about Schumacher.
Yeah,
There's Rush.
I think the Schumacher film might be coming out soon. I think it might be coming up.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, 2021.
There's Le Mans '66.
Oh, that was actually very good as well. I forgot about that. That's with Christian Bale and Matt Damon.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
So
it was, not the best racing movie I've ever seen. F1.
But I don't think we should put people off from going to see it. Just be aware that it is
It's Hollywood.
It's very glossy, very Hollywood, very Brad Pitt walks in slow motion and saves the day.
Yeah. But it was quite fun watching again, it's a bit like Top Gun. You don't watch Top Gun for the plot. You watch it because they're actually in fighter jets doing all those stunts. And it's exhilarating.
I've seen posts on Facebook and things by people who have been fighter pilots in the Navy, and they're just like, yeah, Top Gun should be 5 minutes long because you see the first sequence and then they both get canned off the programme and never fly in the Navy again.
Well, exactly. Like, Sonny Hayes should have been DQ'd from the championship after 2 races, and that's it.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Or, like, so many things shouldn't have happened. Like, when that crash happened, there should have been a safety car, I think. One of them was, like, a crash that... Lewis and Joshua collide on the final lap. So Lewis crashes. And then Sonny Hayes gets a victory, I think.
Oh, does he?
But there wasn't any sort of penalty or any like red flag or safety car when Lewis crashes.
I thought Sonny kind of sacrificed his race to let JP win or something.
I thought he did. But I'm reading the Wikipedia page and it says that's not the case.
You see, this is the point. I mean, it was a good laugh. I think, I went to see Gladiator 2 when it came out, and nobody asked me what it was like. And I was like, if you go into a film like that, expecting, historical accuracy about Rome, and a thought-provoking plot, and intriguing, morally grey characters, you're going to walk out disappointed.
Yeah.
If you go in thinking, it's a Friday night, it's 2.5 hours of gladiators and, fights, and I think they actually sailed boats around the Colosseum. It's a huge spectacle and it's a laugh.
Yeah.
So I think if you go into the film thinking, oh, it'll be a spectacle, you get to see the fast cars and it's not going to be too challenging and too accurate.
Yeah. And then
it's fun.
It's decent. I mean, I think I was talking about the difference between Barbie and Oppenheimer. Because I saw both of them in the same day, actually. I did the double.
Yeah.
And Barbie was fun. It did have quite a lot of like thought-provoking stuff to it as well, with like feminism and all that. But then Oppenheimer was much more like artsy and serious and kind of thought quite a lot of itself in a way.
Yeah.
Even if it was way too long for its own good. So it is kind of, films have different roles in a way.
So I'm just looking at IMDb, and the first 2 featured reviews are Top Gun for race cars.
Yeah.
And great action, silly story.
Well, that's exactly what we said. We could have just said that and then moved on, to be honest.
That's like, 9 words and we've done it.
Yeah, it's like 7.9 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's about right, I think.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad, but
wasn't great.
Again, cut out the romance and add more technical details and I'm happy.
Yep. Shall we move on to the other big story?
Yeah, the real fun stuff.
Yeah. So, I can't remember when it happened actually, but...
I remember it was Wednesday.
Oh, that was right. It was Tuesday night after the British Grand Prix. Christian Horner was called into a meeting with the bosses.
Yeah.
And then he went into the factory on Wednesday morning because he asked to tell people himself, which is quite an honourable thing to do, isn't it?
Well, he does. I think he does genuinely love his team,
Yeah, and he's been there for 20 years. So he went in to tell them that he'd been fired.
Yeah.
Which is kind of... It's one of those really odd events because partly it was completely out of the blue.
Yeah.
It wasn't the middle of the summer break or at the end of a season It
or
was
silly
like
season or any of that.
it was like Tuesday night after a race.
Yeah,
But also the wind had been blowing that way for a long time.
a year or two since Mateschitz died. It's sort of been collapsing at Red Bull.
Well, Dieter died in October 22.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the Red Bull's Wikipedia page.
Yeah, I've got it up now.
Yeah, so Dietrich Mateschitz died in October 22.
So what actually happened is, in the 80s, Dieter Mateschitz went out to Thailand and met a guy called Chalio Uvidya who made, I can't remember, Kratang Dayeng, which was,
Yes.
doesn't literally translate to Red Bull, it's like Scarlet Buffalo or something.
Well, Red Gaur, or Gaur, Gaur, which is a large bovine native to India and Southeast Asia.
Yeah, and they basically got a deal together to sell it in the West as Red Bull.
Yeah.
And rather relevantly, the Uvidya family, because both Dietrich and Chalio died now, the Uvidya family had a 51% stake in the new company, and Mateschitz family had the 49%.
Yeah.
And what I've heard, and again, all of this is kind of speculation from Facebook because it has been really strongly shut down by a lot of people, is that up until very recently, the Uvidya family, I think Charlem is the son of Chalio, they supported Christian Horner. So they were in his corner, so nobody could do anything because they're the majority shareholders.
Yeah, they could just veto everything.
But I think they finally got fed up and ran out of patience.
Yeah, or they couldn't hold them off any longer.
No.
Maybe that there's some sort of like legal thing, like if the 49% decide to activate a certain clause, maybe it's the P3 thing, where they're no longer third of the championship.
Oh yeah.
So Horner's got a performance exit clause, just like they say that Max has.
Yeah. The other thing I've heard is that it sounds a lot more dramatic than it is. Uvidya put 2% of his shares into a trust in Switzerland. And at first it was like, oh, maybe that's what caused Horner to get sacked, because it was only like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But apparently they were fed up with the kind of tension in the boardroom. So Uvidya put 2% in a trust in Switzerland. And the idea is they're now both equal on 49.
Yeah.
And if there's any disagreements, there's a bunch of Swiss lawyers who will sit down and go, right, we've analysed this situation. The best thing for the company and for the brand is this. And that's what has to happen.
Oh, you think that's what... Do you think those Swiss lawyers said that Horner's got to go?
It could be. I mean, what I've read is that it's not connected.
With a business like that, I think everything's kind of connected.
Yeah.
And like, the holistic business view.
Yeah, I mean, there was February 2024, Horner got in all that trouble with an employee.
Yeah.
But he made it go away.
Well, they had like an internal investigation and they cleared him of any wrongdoing.
Yeah.
Which doesn't necessarily mean that he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
It's all a bit weird. It just sort of got buried.
I think it might still be rumbling on, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it could be. There's like... I thought I did see that she was like doing another appeal or something, or suing him again.
Yeah, what I'm quite surprised about, if there was anything behind it, usually you get a kind of Me Too movement kind of popping up. So if she'd actually stuck her head over the parapet, as it were, I'm surprised if Horner really was that bad and was like, a bit controlling and sending dodgy texts to people. I'm surprised there's nobody else.
Yeah, maybe.
But I'll tell you what has emerged from all this is the level of politics, because basically 3 people don't like Christian Horner.
Yeah.
Jos Verstappen, Helmut Marko and Max Verstappen.
Mm.
Although Max always says, I'm only here for the performance, he doesn't care about the politics.
Yeah, and he was loyal to Horner.
Well, Horner's given him everything he's got, basically.
Yeah, I mean, Horner did build the team to where it is, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
But it's really Helmut Marko and Jos Verstappen who've taken against him.
Yeah.
And apparently all these rumours, I mean, it's ridiculous. I've probably seen more photos on social media of Max Verstappen in a Mercedes race suit than I have of Max in a Red Bull race suit in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot that Jos is just putting out this rumour that basically Max is waiting on approval from the Mercedes board before the deal goes through.
Yeah.
And that's going to really unsettle things at the board because nobody else can drive that car.
Yeah. It is, it's overall, regardless of why it happened, it can't really be good for Red Bull in the long term.
No.
Or even really in the short term. Because a big leadership change like that is just never kind of healthy for a team.
No, and I mean, you look at the fact that Toto Wolff has been with Mercedes since 2013.
Yeah.
Horner's had been with Red Bull since 2005. And between the two of them, those two teams, they sewed up pretty much everything from 13 till now.
Yeah.
Oh no, McLaren won last year's Constructors.
Yeah.
But they really had. And I think part of that is, like you say, the continuity. Just keeping everything developing.
Yeah.
You know, pushing things forward.
He's the longest tenured, what's it called, team principal. But it's by a massive margin now.
Oh, of everybody on the grid, I think people like Frank Williams outdo him, yeah.
Well, no, Frank Williams is... Oh, well, he's not there anymore. But...
No.
Yeah, like... I'm just seeing if I can find it, but I don't think so. Yeah, it's like... Because he's been there since 2010, actually. Which makes it 15 years.
Who's
And
that,
then
Toto?
the next highest, I think, is like... It's someone who's only been there for 2 years, because everybody else has shuffled so much.
I think Frederick Vasseur's probably 2 years.
Is he on 1 year? Was he there 1 year last year?
Yeah. Yeah.
Certainly, yeah.
You know what also occurred to me about the whole situation? Back, you know when like McLaren suddenly got that win with Norris in Miami?
Yeah.
And the wind seemed to be changing direction and the Red Bull wasn't competitive.
Yes.
I figured out what they should have done if it was possible.
Mm-hmm.
They should have angled the development of that car towards Perez.
Mm.
Because they've got a generational talent in Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually matter too much what car you put him in. He can get something out of it.
Mm.
So therefore they should have sat down with Perez and said, what do you need?
Yeah.
Because then they would have probably got a lot of podiums out of Max, but they also would have got, and probably, 4th to about 8th out of Perez.
Yeah.
And especially as they extended Perez's contract, they would have got return on investment then from Perez.
Yeah. And
then as soon as I thought that, here's a weird thought.
Yeah.
No, none of the Red Bull second drivers, not Perez or Lawson or Tsunoda, ever give technical feedback.
Do they not? I mean, we don't really know that, to be fair.
Well, no, but when they go to the press, they normally got their eyes down, and they're normally like, oh yeah, the pace just wasn't there. I don't know, I'll try better next time. I know I should have got more out of the car.
Yeah.
Whereas if you hear, like, I don't know, Hamilton's the favourite punch bag at the moment, he'll be like, oh, I don't know what's going on with the car. You know, the back end suddenly digs in and grips, and then the front end grips and the back end goes light, and that can all be in one corner, and the balance is horrible. Or even Max is allowed to say, oh yeah, the backs have just gone, the balance is horrible. Norris said, oh yeah, the front's too neutral, I've got no feeling for what the front's doing.
Yeah.
I think everybody on the grid, when they talk to the press, they give technical, and yet we've never heard like neither Perez nor Lawson nor Tsunoda say, oh, the back's just really light, it just slides everywhere, I can't seem to get the speed, or oh, I can't get heat in it. You know, they never give any.
Yeah, well, they're quite young, to be fair. I know Perez wasn't. But
Perez was hugely experienced.
Maybe that's just not his strength, though, because he was always in fairly naff cars.
Yeah, I've got a feeling there might be some kind of PR thing. I think
that they don't want them to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Perez is 35. He had 285 starts, 6 wins, 39 podiums.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hugely... I mean, even if you back it up by like half a race, that's over 250 entries.
Yes.
I think it kind of comes down to that Red Bull problem with the second driver.
Yeah.
And what that problem does is it then means somebody like Jos can come along and start briefing the press, you know, behind closed doors and round the back of the bike sheds and say, oh, Max is thinking of leaving. And then the Red Bull management look in their crystal ball and they go, what would the team look like if we had Lawson and Tsunoda? What would it look like if we had Tsunoda and Lindblad?
Well, they'd be like back markers, realistically, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Which is quite an epic kind of downfall.
Well, I mean, 2023 was the most...
It was the most dominant season ever.
Yeah. And that's not even 2 years ago now.
Yeah. God, I remember it was so boring. Because Max literally won every race at a certain point.
I think Perez won 2 or 3 at the beginning.
He won 2 at the beginning, Perez. Sainz won Singapore.
Yeah.
And everything else was just Max. It was just like, ugh.
So that's... Did he win 19 races that year or something?
Yeah. Which is ridiculous. I mean,
But the problem then
the
is...
majority of drivers don't win that many in their whole career.
No. But then you get into the situation where Max is bigger than the team.
Yeah.
Because what are they going to do if Max goes, oh, I'm fed up, I'm leaving? Or even as we've suggested, if he says, oh, I want a career break. You know, that leaves Red Bull kind of nowhere.
I think they probably take Lawson back up to RB, Red Bull proper.
Yeah.
Get Lindblad into RB alongside Hadjar. And then I think they just need to start again.
Yeah.
They just need to say to the board or whatever, we're going to be off the front for another 5 years probably. We've lost Horner, we've lost Max. We're a midfield team now, or a pair of midfield teams.
We've lost
people like Jonathan Wheatley and
Adrian Newey.
Yeah. Like, we can build the cars around normal drivers. Like, you know, to be fair, Lawson and Tsunoda are both fairly young, and Hadjo and Lindblad are, you know, children, basically.
Yes.
So that, realistically, they could keep those 4 drivers in some way for the next, 5 years. But I think if they keep trying to push for like world championships, they won't get anywhere. If they keep saying, "Oh well, this driver's rubbish in this car, so we'll fire him." They need to do a Williams basically, and just get a bit of stability and like longevity back.
Where did James Vowles was Mercedes, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was maybe angling to take over Mercedes from Toto, but Toto's never going to leave.
Well, you say that. I mean, talking about team principles, I said this a few podcasts ago. Toto stopped turning up to the track.
Yeah, you're right.
He estimates he'll do like 13 to 15 trackside appearances.
Yes.
But, I mean, with like... Well, actually, I mean, this podcast is a perfect example, isn't it?
Yeah.
We are, 150, 170 miles apart at the moment, me and you?
Yeah.
We're having a perfectly ordinary real-time conversation. And we haven't got, Mercedes level of technology here, let's be honest. I've got like a 40 quid microphone from Argos. And
I feel like they probably would just use Zoom.
Well, yeah, but what I mean is, if he sat even in his home office or in a hotel business suite, it wouldn't just be Zoom. He could have real-time data. He could see what the sensors were going on. He'd have strategy. He'd have strategy people saying, "Oh, we could do this. We could do that."
He could even be wired into the radio signals.
Yeah.
So he could like talk to the people in the garage even though he's not there.
Yeah.
Which would be a bit creepy actually, because you just hear his voice and look over your shoulder and there's no one there.
Well, it'd probably be in your headphones, but yeah.
I know, but still, you'd be like used to having him there and he's still talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you see, I think that's a much more kind of...
This is another thing about Horner as well, is that he wanted to have a stake in Red Bull, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think coming back to Horner, I think that's... A few things happened after Dietrich died.
Mm.
There was a deal whereby Porsche wanted to do a partnership with Red Bull for, like Ford have done now, for the energy technology.
Yes.
To have a Porsche branded engine as part of Red Bull powertrains. And for whatever reason, Christian Horner blocked it. And I think that was seen as a... I think people were kind of, in like the Red Bull boardrooms, were kind of going, well, that could have been a really good thing.
Mm. Yeah.
But then as well, you're right, I think he looked across the pit lane and he looked at Toto, because Toto's down as, if you look him up on Wikipedia, he's like a billionaire entrepreneur, not just a team owner.
Yeah, he's a billionaire investor.
Yeah, there's a 3-way ownership of Mercedes. Kind of appropriate with the 3-pointed star, but it's actually Mercedes, the car brand, whatever they're called now, the actual owning company. It's Toto Wolff, and I honestly can't remember who owns the final third. I think it's just a random venture capitalist.
I'm having a look. The Mercedes-Benz Group.
Mercedes-Benz in Formula One. Here we go.
Owners. Institute. Oh no, it is the. Wow. Private shareholders, 22%. The Kuwait Investment Authority, wow.
Yeah.
I think it is the Mercedes-Benz F1 team.
Yeah. But the point is that...
I can't see the ownership or anything.
But the thing is that, Toto... This won't happen to Toto unless there's like a major... boardroom revolt, because he's actually a 30% owner of the whole team.
Ineos plan to take a 1/3 equal ownership stake alongside the Mercedes-Benz Group and Toto Wolff.
Oh, so the last third is kind of floating.
So the Mercedes-Benz Group owns a third of the F1 team.
Yep.
Ineos owns another third, the chemical company.
Yep.
And then Toto Wolff owns the last third.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, there's nothing... And I don't think it's quite as childish as him being jealous, but I think, I think Christian Horner wanted that kind of
the influence.
security.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Christian Horner was under a very long-term contract.
Hmm.
And I don't think it was a performance clause, because what I've heard is now he was expected to earn, I think, somewhere around 150 million if he'd stayed to the end of his contract.
Yeah.
So now Red Bull's leadership team and Christian Horner's lawyers are sitting down in a boardroom, just basically, one says, oh, I want 150 million, and they laugh and go, no way, how about 20? And they laugh and go, no way, and kind of haggle.
Yeah.
So I think they are going to have to pay him out.
Yeah, I think so.
Which again isn't going to help, because that's money that could have gone on driver salaries or
Development. To be fair,
well, maybe not development because that's budget capped, but
it is. What's it called? Red Bull. To be fair.
yeah, but I mean, as we said,
they've got about $1 billion. They got hundreds of billions of dollars probably.
but yeah, I heard. I can't remember where I heard it that at one point, Christian Horner was trying to get a load of venture capitalists together to try and buy some Red Bull shares to kind of give himself a stake. But that's probably when he ran up against Oliver Mintzlaff, to be honest, because he's on the board of directors in charge of kind of sporting operations. So he would have like overseen the whole. He would have been like the director in charge of Formula One.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of. I think there were a whole load of things, to be honest.
Yeah, there are probably hundreds of different factors that actually caused it.
I mean, we actually, before we did this podcast, we'll be very careful here. We looked up Jos Verstappen on Wikipedia, and I've heard a lot of this as well. Everybody's heard about the kind of the petrol station story and things like that.
Yeah.
But he actually went to court for running over his ex-girlfriend on purpose.
Yeah.
And he managed to plea bargain away from attempted murder to some kind of fairly minor assault and battery. But that's not like a, oh my god, that's an isolated incident. There's like ignoring restraining orders by both Sophie Kumpen, who's Max's mother, and and his ex-girlfriend after Sophie, and suggestions of domestic violence, like arguments that are so loud and bangy and crashy that people in the hotel have reported them to the police.
Yeah.
So again, I was thinking about this today. It's kind of almost, I mean, I might be miles off the mark, but if Christian Horner's got in trouble for like coercive and controlling behaviour, which kind of hints at a, you know, maybe Jos was like, well, we don't want two tomcats in one enclosure, do we? You know, two kind of big male egos. I know for a fact that it's Jos who's taken against Christian Horner.
Yeah.
And I mean, a year ago there was all that. I think Christian was trying to push Helmut Marko out at one point. And Max actually came out and said, if Helmut goes, I go.
Yeah, maybe.
Did you know Helmut Marko has been with Red Bull Racing longer than Christian Horner?
I think I knew that, yeah.
Their driver development program actually started in like 99 or 2000.
Yeah.
And Helmut Marko was in charge of that for like 5 years before they bought a Formula One team.
Yeah.
So kind of like almost as a parallel of how drivers do it, Red Bull experimented with like F1 and F3. F1, F2 and F3 and, you know, the junior formulas. And training drivers, and once they kind of had the hang of that, they moved up and bought 2 Formula One teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, Helmut Helmut Marko has been there for basically forever.
Yeah, he's kind of almost like the core of the team, really.
Yeah, and also he's Austrian, so I think he's got a lot of support from the Mateschitz family.
Yeah.
Which shouldn't really matter in a way. I mean, it should be down to who's good at their job and who isn't. But
yeah, but it is all politics, and Red Bull's never been the most kind of squeaky clean team on the grid, have they?
no, I mean,
They've always given me slightly kind of sleazy, dodgy vibes for some reason.
well, I mean, it's not just Jos. I mean, Christian was a great one for the mind games and the rumours and the what if and.
Yeah, and Marco said so many things.
Oh yeah, Marco's accused Perez of being South American,
Yeah.
which is
And
factually.
Did he say, like, when Hadjar crashed, Marco said something like, oh, men shouldn't cry, or something like that?
I said, oh yeah, that's an embarrassment.
Yeah, whereas it was Anthony Hamilton who actually, despite wearing Ferrari gear, went over to Hadjar and, like, comforted him.
Yeah,
Which kind of shows you that's how Hamilton was raised, right?
yeah,
Which I think you can kind of see in the difference in, like, mindset and behaviour.
well, you mean that story didn't end. It was Anthony Hamilton who said, oh mate, I'll take you out for a drink, and then he drove him to a petrol station and left him there.
No, that's not how that happened, actually.
Oh, okay. Just to, really draw the parallels there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like Anthony Hamilton worked 3 jobs and slept on the sofa,
Yeah,
so Hamilton could race.
yeah,
Or, again, Jos Verstappen, who was already, a made man because he'd been in F1,
yeah.
even though he was rubbish in F1. Effectively abusing his son so that he could be a better driver.
Yeah, and I mean, he said about it, he said, I'm aware that I don't think he actually said failed, but he said, I'm aware that I could have done better in Formula 1, so I put all that knowledge into raising Max. Which...
Knowledge or, like...
attitude or...
bitterness and, like, kind of...
Yeah. I mean, the other thing to take out of that is... I mean, I know Hamilton Jr. has been quite a mentor to Isaac Hadjar as well, because Isaac actually idolised him because Lewis has been in the sport so long. But then you look at it, after that one race in Australia, Hadjar's actually kind of blossomed.
Yeah.
Actually, that kind of tough love has kind of always been disproved, because everybody was like, oh, come on, chin up, mate. It's your first ever race, it was the rain. These things happen.
Yeah.
And it's actually made him a better driver.
Yeah. That is how it works, usually.
Yeah. So it is.
Anyway, I was going to say we've gone off topic, but there's not really much of a topic for this episode. It's just... Yeah.
Well, no, the topic is Red Bull imploding because they fired.
Yeah. It's like Red Bull.
And now they've moved Laurent Mekies up.
Yeah, who was like joint team principal with of RB with Alan Permain.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I think Alan Permain has taken over.
God, I'm just trying to find RB, but I'm like...
Ah, right. While you're looking, I actually had to
Yes.
use AI to find this, but I did find the original source as well.
Boo.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's actually what AI is good for, because it searched the text and found me something. In 2010, the FIA World Motorsport Council started a system where there's basically super licenses. FIA Code of Good Standing.
Yeah.
A minimum of 6 people per team, including the team principal, sporting director, team manager, technical director, and 2 race engineers. So they did that in 2010 or 2011, basically to stop Flavio Briatore ever being involved in Formula 1 again.
Yeah.
But that's kind of relevant now because, whether they're going to leave Laurent Mekies in there or not. it's a kind of shuffle around of the team structure. And it explains why, despite all the pulling of strings and influence that Flavio Briatore has at the moment, he's not even employed by Alpine.
No, it's like a
technical consultant.
Technical
consultant. Because they've got this code of good standing, which I think we said this a few podcasts ago. I think Briatore has actually had nearly all his convictions expunged or something, so he could maybe apply to be a team principal, but yeah. Oh, have you heard Felipe Massa's court case comes up in October?
Oh, I didn't know that. It's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think
they're going to do anything about it, are they?
I think it's quite a weak case because it wasn't that. I mean, the reason he didn't get any points in Singapore was because his team made a technical error.
Yeah.
They sent his car out with the fuel hose attached.
But he's saying that they wouldn't have pitted at all if it weren't for Piquet, and that they pitted unexpectedly.
But I think his mate.
You could. So many other teams pit unexpectedly fine.
Yeah. I mean, his main argument is because the race was manipulated, they should just say the whole race never happened and delete everybody's points.
Yeah.
Which is a kind of very selective way to apply justice to make sure it really benefits them.
Yes.
Because they lost by such a small amount. I mean, one comment I saw on Facebook that was actually brilliant was, well, if you have like an athletics event and one guy is doping, you don't disqualify the whole field.
No, yeah.
Which is kind of like, actually, yeah. What's that?
That's fair enough. Unless it's the Tour de France when Lance Armstrong was winning.
Yeah.
In which case they said there's no winners.
I mean, that was because I think there was something like, there was a 9-year period.
Yeah.
Which means 27 riders stood on the podium for the Tour de France, first, second and third. And something like 18 to 20 of them were involved in doping scandals.
Yeah.
And there were some years where, okay, Lance Armstrong didn't win. Oh, the guy who came second, no, he's a known doper. Oh, third, nope. Fourth, nope. And at this point you're kind of going, either we let it stand or we just scratch.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, 8 teams were cheating in Singapore, so we'll just bin it. It was one driver basically, or one team who cheated and one driver who benefited. So
yeah, I don't think they don't like giving victories back after a race.
No,
they're not going to give a world championship back after 15 years.
And if they do, everybody's pointed out Lewis will still have 7 because the very next thing that will happen will be they'll go in and go, okay, Abu Dhabi 21.
Yeah.
Because that's even more clear cut. They were like, the rules weren't followed.
No, yeah.
But no, I don't think that's going to happen. Have we kind of gingerly stepped away around the legal quagmire that is Christian Horner being sacked?
I think so. He was fired, that much we can say for certain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not much more to say about it, I don't think. I mean, it sort of is what it is.
Yeah. Okay, here's a quick question for you, Toby.
Yes.
What do you think Max is going to do now?
Whatever the hell he wants, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think... I'm going to actually think about this. I think he will stay with Red Bull next year.
Okay.
If the 2026 new regulations, no Newey car is rubbish, and if he doesn't get on with Laurent Mekies and his leadership, I think he'll take a year out after that. And he might actually just retire straight up from the sport.
Yeah.
But I think he'll, next year, if next year was the same regs as this year, I think he'd quit because that car's not very good. But there is a chance they gain more performance next year.
I think actually what happened is they've run out of an upgrade pathway.
Yeah.
I think the car started off so strong, especially in 22, 23, and the first half of 24. I think they almost had it developed to the level where it could get to.
It hit its ceiling.
It hit its ceiling, that's what I was looking for. And then from mid-24 onwards, McLaren caught up.
Yeah. And now
I'm hearing rumours that Ferrari have redesigned their rear suspension.
Yeah.
And they might actually be up there with Red Bull now. Not Red Bull, McLaren.
Yeah. Well, they're second in the constructors currently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I don't think... I can't see Max going to Mercedes.
No, I don't think so.
Because he's wielded so much power at Red Bull and been so used to basically being the top dog.
Yeah.
He wouldn't... I don't think Toto would put up with that.
Yeah.
And there's two choices. Either he'd have Kimi Antonelli.
Yeah.
And everybody's saying, oh my god, Max Verstappen and Russell in 2026, the best ever team lineup. And I'm thinking...
They kill each other so quickly.
I actually think Russell would walk. I think Russell would sit down with Toto and say, you hire Max, I'm going.
Yeah. Or maybe not immediately, but certainly after a year together, it'd be like Alonso and Hamilton.
I think it'd make Alonso and Hamilton look like a tea party.
Yeah, because they already don't like each other. As much as they say that they're all fine and there's no bad blood.
It's been
the
going
number
on
of times they needle each other, both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they would just destroy the team.
Another team destroyed, yeah.
By Verstappen, yeah.
The other thing I keep hearing is, the 2026 regs?
Yes, well, kind of.
I'm not hearing anything good coming out.
I'm
hearing teams saying things like, oh yeah, we've run simulators and at the end of the long straight, we run out of power from the electricity. So by the end of a long straight, they're actually just running on ICE because the batteries have run out. I've heard people... Do you know what BOP is? Balance of power.
I've heard of it, but I don't know for sure.
In some, like Le Mans, like World Endurance car, because they're essentially using street cars that are modified.
Yes.
They measure the power and power to weight, and then the faster cars get basically extra lead plates added to bring it back to being a competition.
Yeah.
But some people have said, are you going to do that in Formula 1?
I don't think they should.
Well, they've absolutely said no.
Yeah.
But the fact that somebody's even asking the question, I think means that they know that one team might be, chronically like 50 to 100 horsepower ahead of everybody else. Or we might go out on the first race of 2026 and find that somebody's lapping maybe 8, 9 tenths, maybe 1.2 seconds faster than everybody else on the grid.
Yeah, I'm reading the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
It was agreed to explore catch-up options for power unit development for manufacturers who may have fallen behind. New power units should be reduced from the planned 470 horsepower after some teams became concerned about the possibility of their cars running out of deployable energy in a race.
Yeah. But there again...
Reduced ground effects to ease porpoising, but that doesn't seem like a great idea because ground effect is the only reason they can follow.
Yeah.
I'm just looking.
But you see, the fact is, the fact that they're talking about that...
It's like, 10 months away from the first race in 26.
But then also, we're halfway through the previous season. They can't move any of the big pieces now.
No.
But it kind of, I don't know. I mean, I think this does feed into what we're talking about because, you know, where Max goes next relies on how good the 2026 cars are likely to be. And what happens next for Red Bull relies on how well they can develop the car, you know, based on the, 2026 one without, like, Newey, without Wheatley, without Horner.
Yeah.
It is quite... I've got a feeling something very odd's going to happen next year.
Yeah, there's going to be, I think, a big flurry of stuff. Like, George might sign for another team. Or, like, Max might sign for Mercedes, or...
Max might just take a year out.
One domino will fall somewhere.
Yeah.
Because Max is contracted with Red Bull. So they're not going to say, put a statement out saying Max will race for us next year, because he's already supposed to be.
Yeah, till 2028.
So maybe Russell signing his contract with Mercedes will be the first piece to go. Just to say, Mercedes are definitely running Antonelli and Russell next year.
What contract is Antonelli on?
Well, if I go to the 2026 Formula One Championship, both Mercedes' things are actually on TBC.
Yeah.
It just says as a replacement, at least until the end of 2025.
Yeah, I thought so.
Neither of them are under contract.
And I've always found that as being the strangest. I mean, if I was Russell, I'd feel quite badly used, you know?
Yeah.
He was brought in 2022 with a rubbish car and a disillusioned Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
And he's made a really decent job of it. He basically, over 3 seasons, matched Lewis on points.
Mm.
And then this year, he's just been podium. I think he's struggled to finish outside the top 6, to be honest.
Who, Russell?
Yeah.
Yeah. Apart from the slightly naff races in Monaco and Britain, which are kind of exceptions.
Yeah.
Yeah. 7th or up in every race.
Which, I mean, why wouldn't you just sign him up?
I don't know. Well, because Toto does want Verstappen. He said as much explicitly that he wants to sign him.
He missed out on signing him at one point, didn't he?
Maybe. Could have been 2016. Maybe post Rosberg.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, Toto has explicitly said he wants Verstappen. So by keeping both his drivers out of contract, he's keeping it open for Verstappen to come in.
Yeah. Which, you know, I'm looking at the 2025 championship. There's a good chance Russell will actually outscore Verstappen this year.
Yeah, he could do. I mean, 147 to 165.
Yeah. 12 races to go. It's not an impossible job.
It's not unlikely at all, really.
No. Man, that'd be... Anyway. I think he's only 12 points behind, isn't he?
Yeah.
18 points.
Yeah, 18 points.
Yeah, that's not actually impossible, is it?
It's very possible.
Yeah.
I think we're just going around in circles now.
Yeah. So thank you for listening to us rambling. Not actually about a race, which
we still managed to talk for quite a while, though.
Yeah, I think we needed to do this because there's a lot of stuff that would have overwhelmed whatever race we were talking about.
Well, it didn't help that the previous race was Britain, which itself was utterly bonkers.
Yeah.
And that had a whole hour and something podcast to itself. And then there's all this as well, which is over an hour and 20 minutes now.
Yeah, but I think we do need a race to keep us a little bit focused, don't we?
Yeah, also we had a little break, like a 1 week break.
Yeah.
2 week break between races, so it's a good time to do it.
Okay then, I'm going to say goodbye and thank you for listening. I've been Graham Miller. If you search me up as Graham H. Miller, you'll find my mystery books. Toby is also known as Official Tibby with his gaming channel, which is going quite well.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk to you after the Belgian Grand Prix.
Which is next week, yes.
Yep.